Hello and welcome to Hixxy Studio. In this video I'm going to show you how to make this box with the aperture here with some acetate. It's made from Centura pearl, hint of gold, and I'm using this cut and emboss folder from Crafter's Companion called Botanical Garden. And to decorate it I have used Elizabeth Craft's Garden Notes, the Grecian wallflower. Okay, so first thing then we're going to do is to actually make the box itself. So I have my two pieces of Centura pearl here cut to size. So for my base, it's 9 1/4 by 7 1/4 inches, and I'm going to score that at 1 1/8. And for my lid, it's 8 1/2 by 6 1/2, and I'm scoring that at 3/4. And that's because I didn't want the lid to go all the way down to the bottom, so I wanted my lid to be slightly smaller. And this decoration that I've got here was not deliberate. That was a mistake when I scored it, but it's something that we can add in to make the base a little bit more interesting. Okay, so let's grab scoreboard and score these. And so this is scoreboard, the Crafter's Companion one, but most of them that do boxes work the same way. So for my lid I need to butt it up to this side and score from this side, and for my base I butt it up to this side and score from this side. And when I'm doing the base I use the measurements at the bottom. So let's do the base first. So we need to score at 1 1/8. So I'm going to do that all the way around. Making sure I've got it right up there. And then there and here. Now if I want to add in, take this off. If I wanted to do this, then all I need to do is to score again further in. So we'll do it so that I can show you not exactly what I did, but we gave a further 3/8, maybe a quarter. Let's go for 1/4 of an inch from there. So 1 4/8. Right, isn't a quarter, is it? It's a half an inch. So I'm just going to score that not quite so heavily as I've scored these ones, because these are where I want to fold. So I'm going in 1/2 an inch. And it was just when I was working out my measurements and trying to score, and rather than starting with a whole new piece of card, I thought actually I can go with it and they just make a little bit of a feature of it. So there's no reason why you can't just add some nice little decorative lines. So that's my base, and then my lid. I'm going to score from this side, and I'm scoring at 3/4. So 3/4 and 3/4 and 3/4 and 3/4. So I'm going to get my one folder and I'm going to fold over and burnish these lines. I'm not too worried about my writing because on this one we're going to cut a bit out in the middle in a moment, and on the base I have just a piece of card that will sit in there to make it look a little nicer than just the plain white of that. Okay, so I've done that. So just you have to remember on this one, because we've scored the 2 lines, we want to fold and burnish the outer line on each one. So, and, okay, and then going to scissors and just cut a small piece from there and from there and same here. Now I am going to start sticking this one together because it could be drying, but the lid I've got more to do for the lid. So when I make boxes, I do tend to do all the decoration for the lid before I assemble it. However, I will make my little cuts in preparation. So, and and okay. So just put the lid to one side for the minute, and we'll just finish off the base. So what I've already got is I've got a piece of card that this is just a white linen card. It's just because you can see the base through the acetate of in the aperture. I just wanted this to this is what I'm making the flowers from. So I just wanted it to kind of tone in. So we're just going to stick that in, and then we will actually stick the box base together. So as you can see, my writing is now completely covered. And that fits just in. Whenever I'm working out how big, I always measure from just inside the crease line, so from just inside here, to make sure that I get it so that it will fit, and then the sides will still fold. So I am just going to put some glue on the pull tabs. And then I've just got some pegs that I will use to hold this together. And then this can be put to one side while we put out everything for the lid. Oh, getting gluey already. Okay, so there's my box base, and we'll just put that over to the side, and then that will be dry by the time we are ready to put the lid on. Okay, so we're going to go back to the lid, and we need to cut some out from this. Now, this folder, it will cut this aperture, and it will also cut these bits here. So I wanted, if you can see, the acetate to show through all of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 3/8 of an inch in from each edge here. Okay, so like so. And there. And that one. And that one. So it's 3/8 of an inch all around. Now if it's not entirely straight or not entirely exact, don't worry too much because we are going to cover this. This won't be seen. So I'm going to get my I have a different ruler that I use for cutting, my knife, and I'm going to cut this. Oh, hair's falling out. So I'm going to cut from here to here. Okay, so we're cutting out that section in the middle. Okay, and on these two sides as well. So, and then so we've now got this piece cut out, and this piece can go for another, in scraps box for another date. So I'm going to finish off the inside of the lid, and I have cut, and I know it's hard to see because it's acetate. I've cut a piece of acetate that fits inside there, and then I've cut a piece that will sit over the top of that. And the reason being is I'm going to use red liner tape to stick this in, and obviously that will show through the acetate. So I just wanted to make sure that I had covered it up. Okay. So again, my my pencil line will kind of disappear, or most of it will, behind the sort of frame. And all I did with the frame was I cut a piece to the size that I wanted, and then I put it underneath the box lid and drew through with pencil and then cut it out. So I knew that I had the right size of aperture in that sort of frame. But it's just nice. I always like to well, I try to, particularly when I'm either doing the commissions or for gifts, to make the inside of the box look. I mean, you spend all this time doing the outside of the box, and then if you don't do the inside of the box, it kind of lets it down a little bit. I mean, to be fair, if I'm in a hurry, I don't. But I do try to make sure that the inside of the box is equally pretty. Now I'm going to tear this straight off. When I do the other bit in a minute, I won't tear it all straight off. I will use bend it back, and because I'm also going to use some glue for that. Oof. There we go. Okay, so let's just put that in the bin. Right, so here's my piece of acetate, and I'm just going to line up the side and then lay that down. Yeah, that's good. And then just give it a good press. So you can see that the red liner tape shows through, and that's why I want to conceal it with that border. So I'm going to put another, try not to get it going through, although to be fair, that will be covered by the piece that we're going to emboss, so it's not too much of an issue. And that one. And then across here. And across this one. Now, what I am also going to do in a moment is that I will add some glue to the edge of this, because obviously that tape doesn't go out as far as the edge. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to use my making sure this time, and I am going to just use my foam folder to just bend that down a little bit so it stays. If you're using tape to do a tier thing of, you know, whether it's red line or whatever, this is a technique that helps with the placement. When you're using wet glue, you've had that little bit of wiggle room, but with tape and foam pads, but tape in this case, you don't have wiggle room. So if you don't get it down first time, you end up a little bit stuck. So by doing this, you give yourself a little bit of time to get it positioned before you actually stick it down. So I'm just going to put a line of glue just along the outer edge of this frame. It does get a little bit messy as you pull this through. Then you're going to end up pulling, you're getting glue, a bit of glue on stuff, but just it's not hideously messy, but it's worth noting. Right, so I've got that in there. This one fitting in. Okay, so I'm just going to press that down, and then what I can do is just pull. See what I mean? You get the glue on the red liner there. So I'm going to press, pull this one out there, and then that one there. Okay, so that's our box base and the inside of our box prepared. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the cut and emboss with this folder. So when you get a cut and emboss folder, you need don't be tempted to try and pick this out. It's there for a reason. Because that's where it's cutting bits out. So where you see the foam parts, that's where the actual the cutout parts will be. Okay, and I'm going to run this through my machine. Right, so just the two plates should. Okay. So I'm just before I completely take it out, I'm just going to lift it just so that I can check to see whether the pieces have cut. Because what I don't want to be doing is taking it out and it's not cut, but that's cut, so we're fine. Okay, so I'm just going to clean off the bits out of the folder. They're a bit sticky, I think. No, yeah. Come off. Oh, definitely static today. Right, that's that. Wipe them off the board. And I'm just going to grab my my dye brush. Just that's probably on the back. Actually, probably in this case, it's just going to be easier to put my pokey tool through like so. Where else? In here. and so fix that, and down. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Now I'm not doing anything else to that folder. It's just beautiful as it is for this project, but you can still do your kind of inking techniques with a cut and emboss folder, and have a look on our channel because there is a video of this one where I have used an inking technique with the folder. Okay, so now what we need to do now what we need to do is we need to cut this down, but I don't want to do I don't want to go too quickly. So at the moment what I'm doing is I'm looking for the where the edge of the folder was, okay, and making sure that it's butting up there, and at least then I know I've got a nice straight. Okay, so I know that this is going to be too big, but what I want to do is to start offering it up to my lid to kind of see how much more I want to take off. Now you can see it's pretty much there, but I would just like it to come in a little bit more. So I'm going to take just a small sliver, making sure I've got it all put off of each edge, but it is literally just a small one. Also showing me I didn't quite have that square in the in the guillotine, which then gives me that opportunity to just square this off. Right, okay, so let's have a look. I think that'll work. Yeah, okay. So don't sort of go in trying to cut it to size first go, because it's not that easy. Now, I don't want to have glue all over this, so I am literally just going to to put glue around the edge. Okay, it will be enough to hold it. So I'm going to actually put glue onto here rather than onto here, so that I don't end up sort of making a little bit of a mistake. So it's not quite out to the edge, so I'm not going all the way to the edge, but just giving this enough glue that it's going to hold the thing on. Okay, so this up, let's give it a little bit of slide, and then just push that down. So even from the inside, we've got a bit of a mess on my acetate, but from the inside it looks neat. I probably should have, and I probably will still go in and get rid of those lines that I can see. Okay. So I can now stick this together, because the flowers I'm going to put on, I'm going to use 3D glue gel, and that's quite easy to, I don't need to push them down to get them to adhere. So let's get the base, the lid glued now. Get some pegs and the glue, and then we'll look at the flowers. Right, okie dokie. And the last one. There, okay. So our lid can now go with our base just to dry off. So we're going to use the grease, or I have already got all my bits cut, but I'll use this spare bit of Centura, and I will just cut once through. Now I've used I'm going to just check whether I did or not. I don't know if I did use the biggest one. I might. Yes, I did. I used all three. So I used all three of the flower dyes, and I used the 2 foliage dyes. If you were making this Grecian windflower, if my memory serves you right, is what I would call a cone flower. You would cut out all of these, and then these would be stuck over the top. But I didn't want I didn't want that. And I don't want to use the stem either. So those are the 2 I didn't use. So we just run this through just to show you that it cuts nicely. And then I've got some already part prepped to show you how I put them together. Okay. So that. I'll grab this. And we'll see if they'll cut without any more. Oh, but they certainly won't cut like that because I haven't got the plastic shim in. We'll see if they'll cut like that. If not, I'll just use a little it's going through. Takes off this because this will now be dry, and the lid will also be dry because it doesn't fit. It says I need to move these pegs. I should have had 2 pegs on. We'll leave that for a little bit longer. Okay, let's see. This is cut. Yep, that's cut fine with no extra pressure. Let's put these back in. And that little one. See, this little one would make a nice little flower on its own. In fact, all of them would work quite well on its own, but this is a quite nice little diddy one. If you just wanted some sort of small flowers. These are designed to allow you to make them realistic, but you don't always have to do that. You can, if that's a thing, and occasionally I like to, then they're great because they've been made to allow you to get the right structure. That said, I think all of this Garden Notes range are brilliant just as flowers, not specific flowers. Okay, so those are all the bits that I cut out. So put those to one side so you can see they cut nicely. So I've got a couple of the flowers already assembled, and I've got some. I'll just put the pearls back in there for the moment so that I don't lose them. And I'm going to move the foliage. So I've cut the flowers. There it is. I've cut the flowers out of the same linen effect card that I've used on the inside of the box. To be honest with you, it was the other way around. I cut the flowers and then decided that I would use the same on the inside of the box, but you get the idea. So I'm just going to give these a little bit of shape, literally with my fingers. I'm sort of holding the middle, but also the end of the petal because they're quite thin, and just literally pushing each one up like that. It just gives it a little bit of dimension and shape there. And this one, I'm going the other way. I'm just going to fold them down because I want that to kind of sit over the top. You can see like just like that. So I'm going to use some 3D glue gel. I've got an almost empty syringe here, but it will do for what I need for this. It's going to go there, and then it's going to go in and sit on the top of that. So those are my 3 flowers, and then I've got all this foliage, whether I use it all or not. And again, I've just literally done the same, just held the base of the sort of leaf and just bent it up just to give it a little bit of dimension. We're not going for realism here. I mean, we're doing white on white, so you know it needs to look realistic. Just needs to look lovely. Okay, so quite a few. Right, so that's all the larger ones, and then just a little bit of with the smaller ones. So we've got lots, didn't I? Because I cut some more out of the Centura. So the leaves are in the Centura, so I've got even more to play with this time. I think if I recall rightly, I cut them 4 times, and I think I used the 4 of the large ones and 3 of the small ones, I think. But you know, it doesn't have to be like that. So hopefully now my box lid is ready. And we can get rid of our pegs. Right, so we are now, if you look, it's the same this way pretty much and that way. Yeah. So you get a leaf sort of fern, if you like, going that way and then going that way, and you get the flower in the corner. So you could use it that way, but I quite like it that way. I think because of the way the aperture's cut, it really lends itself to being landscaped. So we need some more glue gel. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the flowers. So I don't really want the glue showing. I'm going to move that up a bit. I don't really want the glue showing through, so I'm just trying to avoid the that piece of acetate there. And then is there enough in there for this one? Yeah, there's enough to put. So there's my 3 flowers. And then with the leaves, I literally have just put a little bit of glue gel on the bottom and then sort of push them in again, trying to avoid where I know the acetate is. Might have not quite judged that one right, but this is just where you think you might like to put these in. And it's quite nice to have them coming up sort of this way as well. I'm just going to lift just so that they kind of go on over the acetate. I think it looks quite nice that way, and we'll do one that goes in there as well. Last thing I'm going to get out of that one. Again, I can see there's the bit of the box there, so I'm going to put that in there like that. And we'll have one coming up there. Excuse me. And there like so. And then as I've got that one, I'm going to put that one there. End of my syringe seems to be doing quite well. Okay, and then we'll just fill in with a few of the individual ones. I think that really is the last bit I'm going to squeeze out of that. We're going to put one there. That way. don't know what, I don't know that we do need any more because I think I used that extra large one that I cut. I don't think I need to put any more in. Okay, so I'm just going to use a little bit of glue for pearls on the top of the middle of those flowers. White pearl there. And then I have a bow that I'm going to put sort of here, and I am going to put it onto that little bit, but I'm going to go there, so there's only that tiny bit of glue there. It's going to show, and then I need it to come this way a little bit more glue to sit on, like so, and some glue in there, and my little pearl. Better to get it on my wax pencil there. Let's see what I'm doing better. No, maybe not. I wonder. Actually, probably better to put some 3D glue gel on that one, and that will squish nicely into it. Yeah. So. There we go. Right, so bearing in mind all this is still fairly wet. Let's put our lids on glue, and let's bring our box base in. And whoops, I've moved my bow. Okay, so there we have a really lovely little aperture box. Could be used if you're making a wedding card. You could use it to make a matching wedding card as well, or a little gift. Different colours, yeah, entirely up to you. But that's one way of using these cut and emboss folders that create their own aperture. You would never, I say you would never, I would certainly never be able to cut that by hand. So yeah, have a look on the channel, because I've got another video with this folder where I have actually inked in the folder. And yeah, subscribe to the channel and you'll get updates of when we put new content on. Thank you for joining me.